Okay, we've got a question about the day of Arafat here. The sister says basically, when I go back to India, the day of Arafat, or the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah in Saudi, will be the 7th or 8th day of Dhul Hijjah in India. So what do I do regarding my fast? What advice can you give us on fasting the days that we need to fast, basically?
This is really a very, very important question, which we used to face in North America a lot. Now that goes back to the same point of differences between the scholars concerning the beginning of Ramadan. There are two main schools of thoughts in that regard. One school which they consider the unity of the crescent, by the meaning they say that if the crescent or the moon has been sighted, the moon citation has been sighted anywhere in the world, they believe that there is only one moon, which is true. That's a fact. So if it's been sighted in Cairo, that means it's already been born. So the neighbor countries, such as Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Syria, etc., they don't have to bother and make an effort. If they couldn't see the moon because of a cloud, or because of darkness or smoke, it's been already sighted. So everybody should follow the first country which sighted the moon, based on the fact that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Sumu li ru'yatihi wa aftiru li ru'yatihi." And based on the same hadith, the other school of thought relied on, well, we could not sight the moon ourselves. And we are an independent country, or an independent nation. And of course, in the past, that the Meccans wouldn't have an access via phones or cell phones or satellite to know whether the Medina people have sighted the moon or not. And you can imagine the difference, the time difference, and how many hundreds of miles they have to travel before they get to know about each other. So they said that each country has its own independent moon citation. And these two opinions are both valid. While we have to keep in mind one thing. The most important fact that we should really rely on the moon citation, not on the calculation. For instance, this year, North Americans, Muslims in North America, followed the calculations of NASA, etc., which they began fasting the same day in which countries have or were able to sight the crescent. That's good. If the calculations coincide and matches the moon citation, that's perfectly fine. But what if it does not match and does not coincide the moon citation? We give precedence to the moon citation because this is an act of worship. Actually, sighting the moon in the beginning of the Islamic month, especially Ramadan, of course the month of Dhul Hijjah as well, is an act of worship. Sighting the moon is an act of worship. So we give precedence to sighting the moon. Same thing applies to the issue of the day of Arafah, that one of my family members and one of your family members have gone to perform Hajj from India, from Pakistan, from North America, from the Arab countries. They are all following the country which has the Kaaba, right? The Holy Lands. So if they say, tomorrow is the 9th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah, then there, tomorrow is the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah. If other countries rely on the moon citation in this country, that solves the problem. But if they do not, and if this is their practice during Ramadan and during the month of Dhul Hijjah, and say, we sight the moon by our own selves, and they could not sight the crescent or the moon, then if you follow them, you're perfectly fine. Unless if they say that we only rely on calculations, because calculations, it does not have any presence in this act of worship, unless if it confirms the process of the moon citation. So if your country said that we could not sight the moon, while the Saudis said that we've sighted the moon, and tomorrow is the 9th, and the 9th actually is going to be day after tomorrow, and in some countries 2 days difference, minus or plus. So if you follow your country and fast on the 9th, that should suffice you, inshaAllah. While it will be best if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can bring this entire ummah in the east and the west, in every corner on the globe. And they say that if the moon has been sighted anywhere, let's all begin fasting. And we see that the representatives of the entire Muslim nation coming from every corner on the globe observing the day of Arafah on the 9th day. So I'm telling them, no, today is not the 9th day. It will be best if we can all fast for those who are not performing Hajj, because the Prophet ﷺ says that observing fasting on the day of Arafah removes the sins of the past year and a year to come. Is an expiation for one's mistakes and sins for 2 years, the past year and a year to come. But if the country which you are living at, whether it's India, North America, China, they said, no, our 9th is such and such, and you're following the same routine in Ramadan, then if you follow them, fasting on the 9th day, according to their estimation, counts as fasting the day of Arafah as well.
Jazakallah khair.